Hey guys, this is your mid-chapter 1 test review. So please be sure to take notes while watching. Feel free to pause the video at any time so that you can keep up and understand what I'm doing. Sorry. So here we go. I'm just going to go over everything that's going to be on the test, so make sure you know how to do it. If you don't, email me any questions you have by Thursday. So the first section is going to be taking a sentence of words and turning it into an algebraic expression. So I'm going to read the sentence and then I'm going to have to turn it into a math problem. The first example is if I had 20 decreased by 7. And I need to see what does that look like as an algebraic expression. Well, I see 20 decreased by 7. Okay, sorry, dog was barking, so I paused it. But 20 decreased by 7, and the way that I check my work is I just go back and I read what I wrote. And this says 20 decreased by 7. So that means I did the right thing because it matches my words. Okay, the next example is the product of 7 and y. Well, I have to think, what does product mean? Product means multiply. So if it says the product of 7 and y, I can just write those two things right next to each other because when two things are written next to each other, it means multiply. If you want, you could also do parentheses, or you could also do the dot in between, which means multiply as well. Any of those are acceptable. Just do not use an X for multiply because that gets confusing with variables. All right. Okay, next example. The quotient of 16 and m. So I have to think, what does quotient mean? Quotient means divide. So if you're telling me a division problem with 16 and m, then I'm going to write it like this because in algebra it is easier to write things as fractions rather than writing them like this. But if you wrote it like that with a division sign, I'm not going to mark it wrong. Just start getting into thinking of it like this because this is going to be much easier to work with when we're trying to solve an algebraic expression or equation. All right. Okay, so today I'm trying the pause and restart option on my recording to try to save a little time. So you're going to have to let me know if it's okay or if I should not do it again. All right, so I wrote down some examples of the next section on the test, which is just using order of operations to solve problems. So the first thing I'm going to do right on my test, hint, hint, is I'm going to write down the order of operations so that I can remind myself of the order of operations. And remember, multiplication and division go in the same step, and addition and subtraction go in the same step. They kind of go together. All right, so I'm going to look at my first problem. I have 7 times 2 plus 5 times 3. I have to do the multiplication first before I add. So I'm going to do 7 times 2, which is 14, and 5 times 3 is 15. And then I can bring down that plus sign in the middle. And now I can add 14 plus 15, which is 29. Let's go to the next one. Now on this one, I have 8 plus 6 times 4 minus 9. So I know order of operations tells me I have to do the multiplication first. Bring everything else down and multiply. So I'm going to bring down the 8. 6 times 4 is 24. And then I'm going to bring down that minus 9. And now I can do addition and subtraction from left to right. So that's what I'm going to do to finish it off. 8 plus 24 is 32. Bring down that minus 9 because I haven't used it yet. And then 32 minus 9 is going to be 23. Next problem. 3 plus 4 times 6 minus 12. Parentheses first. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Then bring down the rest. I know that I have to do multiplication or division next, so I'm going to multiply. 7 times 6 is 42. Bring down the minus 12. And then 42 minus 12 is 30. And that will be my final answer. Last example in this section. Remember, multiplication and division from left to right. So in the order that you get to it in the problem. Do not do the multiplication first. You're going to get the wrong answer. Do it in the order that you get to it. So I'm going to do 20 divided by 2 because that's the first thing I get to. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Bring down the times 6. 10 times 6 is 60. Okay, so the next section of the test is going to have you evaluate expressions. That means they're going to give you some values in the directions. They're going to say A equals something, B equals something, and C equals something. And then they want you to plug it into these problems and solve. So my first problem is A minus B. So I'm going to plug in 2 for A and 6 for B. That would give me 2 minus 6. You have to write this out on your test. I have so many students who try to do this in their head and they get it wrong because you forget a negative or you get confused somehow. Please write it out like I did, the 2 minus 6. It's going to keep you from making so many mistakes. So now I look at my numbers. I see that my signs are different. When the signs are different, you subtract. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And the answer takes the sign of the bigger number. 6 is bigger, and it's negative, so I got a negative 4. Next one, let's plug in. I got 2 plus 6 plus negative 4. Remember, addition and subtraction from left to right, so I'm just going to start at the beginning and start solving. 2 plus 6 is 8, and then bring down the rest. And now I have 8 plus a negative 4. My signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. The answer takes the sign of the bigger number. 8 is positive, so the 4 is going to stay positive. And my answer is 4 on that one. All right, last example is 2C. So now I remember when two things are written next to each other, it means multiply. So they're telling me to do 2 times C. So 2 times negative 4. 2 times 4 is 8. And I remember when I have one negative, when I'm multiplying or dividing, my answer stays negative. If I have 2 negatives, the answer turns positive. Okay, that's the multiplying and dividing rules. Okay, the next section is on solving equations. Now the test tells you to solve it mentally. That means you just think about what you're doing to solve the problem and solve it without showing your work. But I'm going to show my work so you can see what I'm doing and how I'm solving it. So I look at what's happening with the variable. B plus 3 equals 9. The variable is being added to, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 3. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So B equals 9 minus 3 is 6. On the next one, I see that x and 2 are being multiplied. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide both sides by whatever is next to the x. So divide by 2, divide by 2. The 2's cancel out. And then 12 divided by 2 is 6. And the last example, I'm looking at the variable. I see that m is being subtracted by 4, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And m equals 24. Okay, So I got my Miami Dolphin colors out for you guys because I know everybody loves the Dolphins just like me. All right, so the next thing is properties. So I'm going to give a brief example of each of the types of properties. These are also in your notes in case you need more detail and in your book. So associative property. Every time I think of associative property, I think of parentheses. And it means parentheses around at least two numbers like this. I might have 6 plus 2 plus 4, and then 6 plus 2 plus 4 again, but guess what? This time the parentheses moved around two different numbers. I still have all the same numbers, 6 plus 2 plus 4, but the parentheses are around different numbers each time. And the rule is that it doesn't matter what order you add the numbers in, as long as everything is addition, you'll get the same answer. All right, commutative. Think of commute. It means to move around. So the commutative property is when I have numbers and I just change the order of them. Okay, so I still have 5 and 3 and 2. They're just in a different order on the other side. That's commutative property, as long as everything is addition or multiplication. Identity property is when you are adding 0 to something, because the answer is going to be whatever you started with. I started with 15. I ended with 15 because I added 0. That's identity property. Inverse. Do you remember what inverse means? Inverse is when you flip a fraction over. And so the inverse property might look like this. You'll have a number, you'll have a multiplication sign, and then you'll have that number flipped. Remember, if there's an invisible 1 sitting under my whole numbers, if I flip that, I get 1 over 10. And then that whole thing will equal 1, because once I multiply it out, I get 1. And that's the inverse property. And the last one, distributive property, that's when we have parentheses. So I might have 4 times 2 plus x in parentheses. And what that looks like, if I were to break it down, is that looks like 4 times 2 plus 4 times x. All right, because all I did was multiply those two together and then multiply those two together. And I kept that addition sign in between. Okay, the next thing is simplifying expressions. So when you simplify an expression, all you're doing is combining like terms. I see that the 5 and 8 are both numbers, so I can only combine those two. 5 plus 8 is 13. The plus x has to stay, but just as plus x, because there's nothing else to add the x to. Let's do another one. What if I have 5 times 3c? So now I'm just multiplying. 5 times 3 is 15, and make sure to write the variable down. And I'm moving a little faster because I'm running out of time. And then I might have x plus 5 plus 3x. So this time I'm combining my x's, because x plus 3x is 4x, and then the plus 5 is going to stay by itself because there's nothing to combine it with. All right? And the last thing is turning sentences into equations. Remember, the difference between an expression and an equation is equations have equal signs. So if it says the word is in your sentence, that means equal. Okay, product means multiply. The product of 2 and m is 20. The product multiply 2 and m is means equals 20. And I'm out of time.